I assume that my screen is shared on the software defined networking. Before getting into that, we should know the basic terminologies of the traditional networking. We are not going to recall all of them, but quickly let's see whether we know about them. We have got MAC, OSPF, RIP, MAN, MAN, then OSI, WLAN, broadcast, physical layer, port, DHCP, packet, HTTP, LAN, UDP, TCP, ARP, token ring, OSI layers, FTP, FDMA, TDMA, CDMA, CSMA, CSMA CA, CSMA CD, token ring, DNS, autonomous systems, switches, access control, telnet, um, circuit switch network, packet switch network, Wi-Fi, data link layer, router, medium access control, SMTP, BGP, wide area network, connection oriented communication, connectionless, reliability, application layer, framing, Ethernet, token ring, IEEE 802.3, 802.5, 802.11, routing, switching, routing table, all right, a lot more, right? So these all are the basic terminologies which we need to know before getting into our software defined networking. At outset, there is an illusion that software defined networking is going to replace our traditional networking. No, it is only the fight between the hardware and software. All right, that's it. All the rest remains same. All our networking topology, networking terminology, everything remains same. As I said, it's only a fight or the trade-off between the software and the hardware. Right. Moving on. So this is a typical data center network topology, probably in a nutshell, a overview. We have got n number of servers. There could be even lakhs of servers or 2 lakhs of servers connected in a data center, and they all are interconnected. Point number one. A second one, these servers can have virtual machines. Let's assume that there are 1 lakh servers, all right, and each of the server can have to a tune of 20 virtual machines. You know what is a virtual machine, right? So 20 virtual machine. So how much it comes? Close to 20 lakhs physical machines, right? So there is a necessity of connecting these 20 lakhs of physical machines, or if you say host, you can call it as a host. If you want to call it as a system, you can call it as a system. So 20 lakhs of machines, that's the logic. All right, how to be connected? So how are they connected in the data center topology? We all have got top of rack switches. In every of the racks there are n number of servers. All these servers are interconnected through a switch. Okay, we call it as TOR or TOR switch. All right, top of rack switches, and these switches have to be interconnected by having the aggregation switch. All right, and also that is connected to the core switch. So there is a common core switch which should be working in gigabits per second, if not terabits of TBPS, and they are connected to with the aggregation switch, and also they are connected to the TOR switch, which in turn connects the servers. All right, so I'm talking about the magnitude, probably the basic magnitude of a data center networking. This gives you a reason why should we really worry about the networking component. Is it possible for me, is it effective for me to buy and install lot and lot of hardwares? All right, or can I manage with software? If I go with software, will I be able to get the speed at which we are operating now? All right, these are the discussion we should have before getting into our data center networking, in other words, software defined networking. All right, so what happens in the traditional switching architecture? All right, you have got three important planes, all right, which we haven't used so far. The word plane has not been used by us earlier, but there are three things. One is the data plane, the control plane, and the management plane. Generally, in general, this data plane is your physical layer. All right, so which has got your connectivity with the network. Okay, it brings the data inside your network. It sends the data out of your network and so on. All right, so that is connected to your control plane where all your decisions are taken on the forwarding. It could be layer 2 decision, it could be layer 3 forwarding decision, point to point protocol. Generally the layer 2 and layer 3, they all come under this control plane. Okay, specifically this routing and related things are taken up. And then you have got your management plane where for the management of the network, okay, for instance SNMP, simple network management protocol, and any troubleshooting or accounting, billing, improving the operation of the network, quality of service requirement, all these are managed at the management plane. All right, so this is your traditional networking. All right, so let's move on. Why should we have the SDN? There are some formal statements are made. Why should we have the SDN? Let's talk about them. But before that, what exactly has been happening at the time this specific book was written? All right, it was sometimes 2010, if I'm right. Okay, at that time, what was the situation? So there was a comparison, and the evolution of network is clearly depicted. During the year 1990s, you have got only the physical layer working with the hardware, where all the rest are working only with the software. All right, for example, you've got your quality of service, access control, routing, switching, all the other decisions of the firewalls and everything. It was all happening in the software, whereas only the connectivity with the physical network was happening at the physical layer. Then probably in another 5 years, in less than a decade, then all your layer 2 was also brought into hardware just to improve the speed. All right, when you go for implementation of the things in the hardware based, obviously it gives an edge over other devices in terms of speed. All right, while the rest were maintaining in the software. Moving on the year 2005 approximately, all right, in the early 2005, you have got majority of the things were going towards the hardware, have no thinking about the speed of the network, which speed of the communication, which is the primary expectation, and the rest were on the software. Right? Only the control plane was on the software side, the rest was were implemented in the hardware. All right, so what's the
Hello, sir.
evaluation? Yes,
Sir, George is waiting outside. His KMail is not working.
I can. George Koshi, is it George Koshi? Can you confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think he's in. All right. Welcome, George. Sorry, I didn't notice. Thanks for your friend. I couldn't recognize him, but he intimated me. Moving on. So, when you talk about the evolution of the switches and the control plane, you heard earlier a simple forwarding and routing using the software. All right. So, we didn't have the dedicated hardware, and every decisions were taken using the software-based methods. All right. And then the independence and the autonomy in the early devices. This is something crucial. All right. What is expected is every device. You take the case of your router. Have the router in your place. You don't expect this router to be depending on somebody else all the time to take the decision. It should be able to get the bits of information, make them into frame, check that out whether no the decision can be taken based on the information on the network layer, based on the forwarding table. So autonomy was anticipated. That's the reason why you have got something called routers and the switches in existence. All right, and the third one is hardware based forwarding and control is in the software. All right, so for instance, the layer 2 and the layer 3 forwarding were all happening based on the hardware. Even today, that's the case. All right, so you have got your routers, you have got your dedicated switches. They take the decision based on its own fabrication, its own architecture internally, and the decisions are taken. All right, switching, specifically the switching is happening in your hardware. All right, and earlier what was the case, especially on the first point, if I wanted to recall, you had the CPU, central processing unit, available in its place, and you have got humpty number of softwares running. The input is fed to the software. It takes the decision where the packet has to be taken up, where the packet has to be forwarded, and then the decisions was taken. All right, and slowly it was moving towards your hardware based. All right. And the necessity of simplification, please remember, software defined networking has the primary objective to have a simplification. All right. For instance, I have given a hint here. The evolution of CPU to risk, what is that risk? Reduced instruction set computing, that's what I remember. All right. Or risk and CISC. All right. So what was happening earlier, the central processing unit was designed to carry out certain tasks, and then the CPU was loaded, the complexity was involved, expecting the CPU to do everything, if not all, majority of the things have to be done by the CPU. All right. And then you had to reset the evolution of CPU by introducing the risk into the history, and then risk, from that there was the evolution going on. All right. So that's what exactly is happening. If I compare this CPU to risk conversion or change of things, probably from the traditional network, I can say you have got the software defined networking into this. All right. So it's again, all are the management reasons why we have gone for the SDN. And the moving the controls of the device. Okay. That is another reason why we go for the software defined networking, where now everything is based on the device hardware, maybe the router or the firewall which is implemented, maybe Fortinet, FortiGate firewall is very famous, as you all are aware. All right, so these devices hold all this control within this. Now the anticipation is, why should they all have? This is almost going back to your fundamentals. All right, take all the controls of the device. All right, for instance, forwarding and filtering, access control list, all these are taken off the device. Somebody else will decide that you do only the instruction which is given to you. All right. And also the applications are also taken outside the regular device. All right. The second major reason why we talk about moving into SDN is your cost. Obviously, that should be the primary one. All right. The increased cost of development. I try to connect this with the fourth point. Okay. When you have the capex, the capital expense, the setting up of the network is going to involve huge cost. All right. Every router is going to cost in lakhs of Indian rupees. All right. So when you have these 2 lakhs of machines or 20 lakhs of hosts to be connected, you should think of the volume and the huge host of the connecting devices available. All right, so that is really going to hinder the development of any organization. All right, if you want to increase, when you want to scale it up, again there is a huge investment has to go on the hardware-based devices. That is again the reason for the adaptation of software defined networking. And the second and third, again, closely coupled points. The closed environments encourage vendor lock-in. That's true. All right. So assume that there is a reset, okay, of network devices. A standard is given. Everyone is supposed to develop in this standard. Perfect. Paka. What happens after that? After that, one vendor decides to incorporate some advancement into his router, so he incorporates. Now there is a rat race. Somebody else also has to improve it, has to install or has to improve this modification. So he has to improve his product, the other person has to improve his product. You know what happens at a particular time of the networking, you reach the third one, the complexity and the resistance to change, which means you have bought the router from maybe from Cisco, and they start improving, they start developing it. All right. And there is no other way, that you cannot go to any other device, because this device is improving every other day, giving its more functionalities. And if you try to take a parallel device from another vendor, it may not give you all these facilities. So that gives the producers of Cisco not to increase the cost, so they are going to sell at their own price. Now whether you can afford that is in trouble. All right. So these are all the reasons why there is a traditional networking devices take a dip, and there is a necessity for moving towards software defined networking. And also this data center innovation has really made it almost compulsory that we should go for software defined networking, especially at the invention of computation and storage virtualization. We need to go for the network virtualization as well. All right. So what does the data center need? Automation, yes, you need to go for automation. You cannot go for often changing the device based on your requirement, doing the configuration of the device. There should be self-organizing things are expected in the data center. All right. So automation is the primary focus, and as I said, the scalability. All right, in terms of cost, right? You have to buy the new devices, install them. Instead, if you have the software based, all right, based on the minor changes, all right, after making minor or simple changes in the software, you should be able to improve the scalability. And also the multi-pathing is possible. All right, the redundant path is possible in the case of software defined networking. That is the necessity of your data center. And also, as I mentioned in the previous slide, the network virtualization is also needed by the data center to improve their performance. Right. What are the characteristics of this software defined networking? We slowly get into this SDN. The primary one is the plane separation. All right. It is not that the hardware based, the control plane, the management plane, and also your data plane have to be mixed and they have to be available in a single device. No, no. Let's separate them into different, so that what are all the things which can be run, which can be handled by the software. Let's take it up. That's the idea, right? So separation of the forwarding and control planes are made in software defined networking. All right, so which was not true with the earlier traditional networking. All right, forwarding, filtering, the other actions like broadcasting, multicasting, all are taken up now by the software instead of the dedicated hardware devices. All right, second one, in SDN, the control plane is taken away from the switching device and it is placed in a centralized controller. This is something very important. I should have highlighted this centralized controller. Okay, so the centralized controller comes into existence when you talk about software defined networking, which was not available when you talk about your traditional networking devices. Every router take their own decision in routing or forwarding or no sending the packets. But in the case of software defined networking, the introduction of centralized controller is a key point for everyone of us to remember. All right, and few other slides I have got here today, which are more of theoretical based, and lot of points are noted in the interest that you, when you are preparing for your NSEMS examination, this will help you to prepare in a quicker way. Okay, and the second one, a simple device and the centralized control is the second characteristics of your software defined networking. I read the statement for you. Instead of hundreds and thousands of complicated control plane software running on the devices and allowing the device to behave autonomously, the software is removed from the device and placed in a centralized controller. This is going to reduce the burden of all the devices, okay, all the hardware devices, maybe a switch or router for that matter. All right, for instance, when you talk about OSPF, when you talk about RIP, okay, so all these are all the processes, they all are the applications or the software which are running on the hardware. All right, and now they all these software, no, all have to run independently, though they are faster. Okay, not very faster compared to hardware anyway, though they are very faster, they give you quick convergence. What is learned based on multiple researches which are happening, they all are, have to be run separately in their own devices, exhibiting, giving lot of heat outside. Lot of CPU cycles are involved in that. Rather, why can't this calculation be done in a centralized way? Based on that, the control signals can be transferred to all these devices to take a call on the routing operation. So that's the idea. So we have a simple centralized device to control the operation of the network, and also maintenance is going to be simple in that. Okay, the third one is the network automation and virtualization. That's the expectation of your data center networking. It provides the ability, or in other words, probably the agility to virtualize the network, removing the network from the physical network. Okay, we have got the actual physical network existing, but all these operations and the services are taken away from that. That is the expectation from your automation. So that is going to reduce the cost of the networking devices, because they don't need to support your all the software, maybe all the RIP and XOZ, nothing have to be supported. All it has to do is understand the signal from the centralized controller, act upon it. So the cost is going to be reduced because the complexity is reduced. And the next one is the openness and its interfaces have to be remain standard, well documented as an open document. They are not supposed to be the proprietary one. Okay, when you go for a proprietary, for example, Cisco Discovery Protocol (CDP), we have spoken a lot about the computer network so far, but in none of the place we have spoken about CDP, Cisco Discovery Protocol. Though it is a very famous and important protocol in the Cisco devices, we don't speak about that because it became a proprietary protocol by the Cisco. All right, so it's not having the openness, but we have to have the software defined networking standards, how to be open, all right, a well document, so that it can improve a lot, right? Okay, what are these software defined networking operation? All these are only at the abstract level we are learning anyway. So this is the overview of your software defined networking. Okay, we have got SDN devices. All right, when you talk about the SDN devices, you could see you have got something called data as well as forwarding. So it does only these two. Okay, collects the data, forwards the packet, nothing more. But how are they working? They all are controlled by your controller. Okay, this controller has the global view of the network, very similar to your link state routing protocols. Okay, it has got the global view of the network, so the controller can take a call where the packet has to be forwarded. This is the biggest advantage of your software defined networking compared to a traditional networking. Okay, and all your applications, could be your hypervisors, could be your network related applications. Don't think these applications are your OSA application layer applications. No, 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 no. These all are the networking applications which are all running along with the controller. Okay, so there is a single dedicated controller runs, controls the operation of the entire network, removing all these operations from these devices in taken, okay, removing them by holding them within its single controller, which is ably supported by your routing information, which has got the global view of the network. All right, moving on. What are the basic components? Some of the theory portions, hope we can note these points down. Basic components of the SDN are three. One is the SDN devices, not our traditional devices. Then the controller and the applications which are supporting this software defined networking operation. Okay, SDN devices contain forwarding functionality for deciding what to do with each incoming packet. It also contains the data that derives those forwarding decisions. Okay, as I have mentioned in the previous slide, the data is represented by the flows defined by the controller. The flow is another keyword which we need to mention. Yes, so every of these software defined SDN devices, they have got something called flows. Please remember, this flow is something you can correlate with your MPLS. Okay, what is MPLS? Multi protocol label switching, right? Where we have spoken about these flows in the traffic engineering. All right, so something similar to that. What is a flow? Yes, a flow is a set of packet transferred from one network endpoint to another endpoint. Okay, this is something there. What is that endpoint? It could be IP address and UDP TCP pair. For example, your socket. Okay, if a packet or set of packets are transmitted from one socket from to another socket, then it can be termed as a flow. Is that all about? No, it could be VLAN endpoints. Okay, in your virtual LANs, from end device to another end device, or it could be the ports. Okay, it could be multiple, or it could be the combination of the source IP and the destination IP, could be a flow. The combination of source IP and the source port, destination IP and the destination port could be another one, as I said, socket. Okay, or from one network to another network. These all are flow. All right, so these flows are given importance in order to achieve a quality of service in the IPv6. If you could recall that, you would be able to correlate here. Okay, what is that? The third point again is something crucial. A flow is unidirectional. All right, so okay, let me read it fully. A flow is unidirectional in that packets flowing between the same two endpoints in the opposite direction may be separate flow. All right, they will be different flow. For instance, from client to server, let me say it could be the IP and the port combination, right? So 1111, and then you have got your colon 104, or 1200, for instance. Okay, 1200. The other side is 2222 with the port number 80. Okay, this is termed as the flow. And if the packet is coming from the reverse direction, 2222 to 82, 1111, 1200, then they cannot be the same flow. Okay, so flows are again going to be unidirectional. It's not going to be bidirectional in its characteristics. And flows are represented on a device as the flow entry. Okay, there's another term, flow entry comes into picture. So far we have spoken about in our networking terminology, MAC table we have spoken about, routing table we have spoken about, and label table we have spoken about in MPLS. All right, but here we have got the flow entry. Okay, that's the biggest advantage of your software defined network. Okay, what is that in flow entry? A flow table, that is what flow table, flow entry. Okay, flow table resides on the network device. Okay, the flow table consists of series of flow entries, and the actions to perform in a packet match the flow arrives at the device. Simple theory which is available in the software, the SDN devices. Okay, what happens when a packet is received by the SDN? Okay, when the SDN device receives a packet, it consults its flow table in search for a match, very similar to your label table in your MPLS or routing table in your routers. So packet comes, it checks the flow table. What should I do with that? If the SDN device finds a match, okay, there is a match, it takes the appropriate configured action, which normally sends the forward packet to the other side. Okay, when there is a match, it just decides, okay, when there is a match, okay, the packet has to be forwarded out of this interface or that interface. That decision is taken. If there is no match, the switch can normally, drops the packet, or that's the second interesting point here, it can drop the packet, or the packet is forwarded to the controller for necessary decision. So now you have got a somebody to support your decision. Earlier all these devices had to take all these decisions independently by their own. Now the story is different. They All right, so they have somebody to support them. Okay, sir, shall I do this? So such consultation is possible in the case of SDN. So controller is there to support your decision or to augment your decisions as well. Who is the SDN controller? He is the second biggest component before the application. There are four things which are mentioned. He is responsible for abstracting the network of SDN devices it controls, which means for the end user, what is the meaning of abstraction for the end user? I should not feel any difference, that okay, I should not see any difference that whether I'm using the SDN or the traditional computing network. For me, when I send the packet, it should reach the other side. That's the expectation I have. Okay, so all this complexity should be abstracted. That is taken care by the SDN, and also it presents the abstraction of these networking resources to the SDN applications running. Okay, we speak about SDN application shortly, but it is doing the interface between your SDN devices and the SDN applications. Okay. Second one, it permits the SDN applications to define the flows on the devices, just to help them how they can check up when a packet is coming in. Okay. The third one, it maintains, as I mentioned, it maintains a view of the entire network it controls. So what's the advantage? This permits the SDN controller to calculate the optimal forwarding solution. Okay, that is very crucial in the case of SDN as compared to your traditional network. In the case of traditional network, you don't have such view, though you have got your link state routing protocols, which are capable of getting the entire topology view. They all depend on somebody else to give the information. Okay, but in the case of SDN, because it has got the entire view of the network where it is controlling, it can go for the optimal routing solution. The biggest advantage of having SDN. Final one, since one controller, instead of having all these decisions or packet forward decisions are taken care by all these devices, a single controller can control a large number of network devices. These calculations are normally performed on, of course, you should have a high-end machine to be the SDN controller. You cannot have a simple laptop or other routers. It should be on a high-end device, all right, and that is okay. But on the other hand, the benefits which it is giving is huge. Okay, that's about the SDN controller. What about the SDN applications? Applications are built on top of controller. Okay, they are part of layer 2 and layer 3, not the as I said, not the layer 7 applications. What are all the things which are related to? It could be related to firewall, it could be related to forwarding, it could be related to access control, or maybe VLAN. All these applications are running on top of your SDN controller. Okay, so this SDN API is used for proactive flows, which is normally called a static flow. What is that proactive flow? Generally, these flows can be dynamic as well, reactive as well. Okay, we are going to talk about REST API and other things probably in later part if time permits. Where the flow can be static, which means whenever a packet comes from this device, this port number, to this device, this port number, same flow number is given. So that improves the performance of your SDN still more. Instead of doing the calculation once again to give a flow ID and other difficulties, the flows are fixed. Hence, it improves the performance again, and that is also established by the application. Probably just to conclude our discussion, a quick comparison between SDN and traditional network. All points are very simple to remember. It's a virtual networking based, but here it is a conventional based. Okay, you have got centralized in SDN, distributed in traditional. Yes, programmable. Biggest advantage, it is non-programmable. Open interface, which means when you talk about the closed interface, if at all you wanted to have any additional thing, you have to update your software, and you have to bring in additional devices here. But here it is not the case in the case of SDN. Data planes and control planes are decoupled. They are separated by the software, but they are mounted on the same device. Supports automatic configuration, as I mentioned in one of the slides, but here no, it needs some manual configuration in the traditional network. It can prioritize or block specific network packets, but all the packets are taking in the same way. If at all you have to do something, you should go for policy based routing, which is supported only by BGP. And it's easy to program as you need, but it is difficult because you have to update your software, replace the existing one the new with the updated one. Patching has to be done. That is in the traditional network. Don't think I'm putting down the traditional network. I'm talking about the advantages of SDN over the traditional network. Cost of SDN is relatively low. Yes, because you don't have to spend a lot on the expensive hardware. Easy to troubleshoot because you have got the centralized control. That is not the case here. And the maintenance cost is also lower because most of the components are running based on the software, but in the traditional running cost is higher. All right, so that's it from me for today's class. I stop sharing. And I also stop recording. Okay, it was Ashby Isaac. Thank Ashby for letting me know that George was waiting outside. I could let him in on time. Yeah, now thank you so much for your time and patient listening. We have got probably in the next level something related to your virtualization. I'm sure some of you have already are working on the virtualization area, but we are going to see them in the theoretical way in our final session scheduled on this Thursday. All right, so that's all from me for today's class. You can get ready for the next class. If you have got any of your examination scheduled, go ahead. Wish you all the best and thanks for your time for today's class. If you have missed to type in your register number, please type in once again. If you have typed in already, no issues. So take care, enjoy your day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pratham. Yes, Demima. Thank you.